Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Thursday, January the 2nd, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Sunshine Cathedral's Executive Minister, he's also my husband, Bishop Robert Griffin, and Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Connections, the Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it no matter where you live in the world. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. If you enjoyed the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities. At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Gender-affirming care is a good thing. The American Medical Association, American Psychiatric Association, American Psychological Association, American Bar Association, National Association of Social Workers, American Nurses Association, American Academy of Pediatrics, Federation of Pediatric Organizations, American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists, and the American College of Physicians all advocate for evidence-based, gender-affirming healthcare for transgender youth. Rampant transphobia is not supported by medical and clinical consensus. Gender-affirming care actually saves lives and is supported by major medical organizations. Of course, LGBTQ advocacy groups such as the Human Rights Campaign also support gender-affirming care. Let's add some religious guidance to the discussion. The Queer God Squad supports evidence-based, gender-affirming care as advocated by medical, clinical, and social science consensus. Let's chat about that now. So, what can you add? All of these fabulous medical organizations, medical, social, all of them advocate for this kind of care. Now, if you're looking at it from a religious perspective, okay, I believe that every person is created in divine image, is created in love and in divine image. Now, I don't believe for a second that God or whoever is up there making man and then making woman. I just think that we are all part of this universe, all created in divine goodness. And not everything is as it seems. If we imagine God or the divine as expansive and evolving and that kind of thing, why can't the same thing be true of people?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
That's my thought on it.
Process theologians would say that God is always in process, is sort of always becoming. And so, yeah, if we're made in the divine image, we would also be evolving, becoming, discovering, changing. So that makes sense to me. But I'm also sort of a bit of a pantheist, or maybe panentheist, but that I just don't believe. I don't see a separation between God and anything else. God for me is the metaphor for ultimate reality, for what is really real. And so anything that exists, anything that's not a dream or a nightmare or fantasy, if it really exists, it must be part of what's really real. The ground of being, Paul Tillich said. So trans people, it's just God being God in that way. So religiously, I don't have any thing other than admiration for the rainbow diversity of life and the rainbow diversity of the universe. And they're part of it. They were part of it. So I don't have any religious objection. I do have objection to people who heard some barbershop gossip or heard some ill-informed sermon or who read something in the Inquirer or whatever, but they feel that they are qualified to take on every medical association and every social work and every psychological, and those, I don't know how many that was. It listed a dozen, 15, 16, whatever, but it was a portion.
Yeah.
I think they were showing the much longer list, and that's just in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's before you get to Europe and Canada and what. Please. So that's what annoys me, is that when we say, well, but the kids or some horror story, but if the kid is telling you who they are, and they've been consistent with that, and the parent sees it and agrees with it and supports it and believes it is in their child's best interest and health to do a thing, and the doctor and the therapist and the endocrinologist and the surgeon all agree, then who are you? And radical surgeries, like, mastectomies are considered radical. Anything where, things are dramatically changed, removed, added, shifted, whatever. Heart transplants would be a radical surgery. Radical surgeries, they aren't going to happen to 8 years old, 10-year-olds.
That's right.
These are, these are 16, 17, 18, 19. But you start counseling before then. You start living as before then. You start hormone treatment before then. And there are several exits along the way. I actually know someone who transitioned, got scared because of their southern rural, tried to step it back, but then finally, and then came back out again and lived. I don't know if they had surgeries or not. They definitely had hormone treatment. None of that's any of my business. But I'm just saying that if you have the support to be able to explore in healthy ways what you think is true, you discover it to be true, and there's so much going on that I'm not qualified to know about. I don't know what's going on with your hormones. I don't know what's in your DNA. I don't know about your chromosomal situation. There are chromosome combinations where you can look male, but in fact test as female, and vice versa. There are people walking around who look perfectly male. They have ovaries. There are people who you would swear are women, but they have testes. Biology is a big and complex thing. You can't tell by looking. It's more than just two. And I have a lot of education, and I'm not nearly qualified to say that someone isn't what they say they are, or to argue with doctors and researchers and therapists and social workers and nurses. And so if I'm not, I promise you ain't. You know what I mean? So just first of all, I trust people. I knew what I was early. I didn't have language for it in the beginning. I needed to work it out, live into it, say it out loud a few times. I didn't come out at 4. Some people have. God bless them. I wish I had done early. I came out at 19. Some people wait till 30 or 40, just whenever you can. But if some people are lucky enough to know who they are and to get the support that they need early and have the medical support they need to become their full and true self, I celebrate. I bless it. And of course, mistakes can be made. Well, what if they change their mind and it's after surgery and it's big pain to go back or whatever? That may have happened, but I'm sure it's rare. I also know that people who've had life-saving surgeries that have gone wrong, with their heart or whatever, and they nicked something. We have a friend right now who had a surgery, had to have, fixed that, but something went wrong, which caused another problem that he's still recovering from. So yeah, I'm sure, because this is true in all of medicine, that there have been times that the result wasn't what you'd hoped for, or you thought but those are always going to be minority situations, and you can't keep people from living in their joy because a statistically insignificant number of things have anecdotally happened, or even if they have been recorded. I just think that the worst case scenario that people always throw out, well, what if, and the slippery slope, and then the sky is falling, and that's all fear-based. It's not ever evidence-based. So I like what this is saying, that evidence-based, we support evidence-based age-appropriate treatment. And this, I've heard this, well, yeah, age-appropriate, ha ha ha. You and I aren't the ones to decide that.
That's right.
The people giving the treatment can decide what's age appropriate. And those are the people who have white coats and stethoscopes and 19 years of medical school behind them. They're the ones who decide that. And I'm just glad when people find their joy.
Yep.
I don't think there's much I can add to that one.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Other than, I think that, like for a period of time, everything was faith-based to me. Yeah. If faith informed a lot of decisions for a lot of people, because that's how they were raised. Everything was about faith. Faith is going to work it out. Faith is going to heal this. Faith is going to take care of that. But I really do vibe with that notion of evidence-based. When something is evidence-based, it's very hard to say 2 + 2 no longer equals 4. Make no difference how many numbers you use. It is, as we know it is today, it is still going to. But when we get into evidence-based around medical stuff and medical situations and medical needs, it may be a both and, but I'm going to side more on what the evidence is saying that needs to be done, and or what a person's bring to the discussion. Like, you know what, this is how I choose to live my life, or how I want to live my life, or how I feel like I can incorporate my life, whatever gender you want to choose, of gender reassignment, or anything along those things. But this faith that says, faith in the Bible is more important than what you feel you need.
Yeah.
I'm not buying off on that.
No.
That's bad insurance,
Yep.
to say the Bible said it, therefore I believe it. No, that doesn't work anymore. It never should have, it never did, but it really doesn't work today, especially when we're talking about gender-affirming care. And even, this part about is like, let's look at this. This is about caring for people, caring for each other. That's what this is about. And how do we do that at Sunshine Cathedral? One of the ways is by affirming people for the sacred value.
Right.
And whatever that sacred value is that you bring to the table, that's what we honor, that's what we respect. And so we support anyone on those journeys. And yet we must be reminded, faith and evidence, they can go hand in hand, but at the end of the day, it's respect for who you are and what you want to be.
And this is medical care.
Yeah.
Same thing we were talking about abortion. That is a medical procedure, and it saves lives. So we're talking about medicine, and I'm a big fan of medical science because it's why I'm alive.
Yep.
It's why I'm thriving. It's why that I can get out of bed most mornings because of mental health medications and because of physical health medications. I am alive. I'm reasonably happy. I'm reasonably sane. I'm probably never going to be on the news for acting out in crazy ways. Medicine has kept me together. Medicine has not only saved my life but enriched my life. So I'm always on team medicine because there's just too many medical miracles to oppose it. Vaccinate me for whatever, split ends, whatever you got. I put it right here. I'm a big fan of it. So that's what I think we need to realize is that we're talking about medical care.
Right.
And people are entitled to that. People deserve that. So we're talking about medical care, we're not talking about moral values. We're not talking about judgments. We're talking about medical care. And if someone needs medical care, you shouldn't be, because that's just control. Well, I'm concerned about the fetus. You don't even know what a fetus looks like. No, you're not concerned about the fetus. Meanwhile, there's a human who needs medical care. Same thing with trans stuff. Well, what if they're too young? What if they go wrong? What if
That's not.
there's medical care, and you're not a medical practitioner.
Yep.
So yeah, I just think if we keep it in its lane, this is medical care. Let the people who need it and the people who provide it work out the best way to handle it, because that traditionally has worked out pretty well a lot of the time, maybe even most of the time. Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together.
We are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.
Bye.